Please stand by. Be underway shortly. Just a few seconds. I like to look at that. And okay. Hey everybody, Steve Aquilong here, and it's time for Strat-O-Matic baseball. Exactly. Boy, we had a hell of a game here yesterday. Angels at White Sox. A lot of drama, back and forth scoring. That'll be a hard act to top. But in any case, the game moves on. As life itself, I suppose. So today we're still on April 14th, 1966, the 16th game on the schedule. It'll be the Houston Astros at the Los Angeles Dodgers, and this is the final game of a 3-game set. And it will pit the veteran right-hander Bob Bruce for the Astros against the rookie Don Sutton for the Dodgers. Bruce would have been 33 by this season, and he was near the end of the line. He pitched his first 3 years of his career for the Detroit Tigers beginning in 1959. He was a pretty good pitcher. Not so much in 1966 with a 5.34 earned run average, but he did make 23 starts. Sutton, a rookie, a 2.99 earned run average in 35 starts as a rookie. 226 innings pitched. He broke into the rotation with the retirement of Johnny Padres, kind of opened the door for Sutton, at least partially. So 2 righties on the mound. Let's go ahead and give you the Astros lineup. Lee May will play left field, the leadoff man. Sonny Jackson at shortstop bats second. Jimmy Wynn bats third and plays center field. Joe Morgan, the second base, moved up to the cleanup spot today. Rusty Staub bats fifth, plays right field. Bob Aspromonte, the third baseman, hit sixth. Jim Gentile, the first baseman, hit seventh. Gentile did not play in the first 2 games of this series. John Bateman, the catcher, hits eighth. And Bruce, the pitcher, bats ninth. And a little bit more on Gentile later. So here we go, we're ready to go here. And the umpire says play ball. Don Sutton in his first start gets the sign from Roseboro. And hi, Tony. Glad you could make it. Hope your day is going well. Here's Sutton's first pitch of the ball game to May. That's going to be a 1-4 against the righty. He grounds it down to third base. That's going to be Lefevre. He takes it and throws him out, and there's 1 down. And that'll bring up Sonny Jackson, the left-handed hitting shortstop. Just easing into the game now. I've got my coffee here. Sutton, the windup and the pitch to Jackson. That's going to be a 5-4 against the left-hander. That's a grounder to third base X. That's Lefevre again, of course. Lefevre, where is he? A 3E24. And here's the roll for the play. It's a 5 on a 3, and he makes the play. So a nice play by Lefevre, and there's 2 down. And that'll bring up Jimmy Wynn, the toy cannon with a ton of power. Sutton gets the sign now, the windup. And the pitch to Wynn. 2-6 against the righty. Ball 4, Wynn draws the walk. Wynn always did draw a lot of walks. He's an asterisk 15, so he'll have to be held on. Sutton was never good at holding runners, and the +4 on this card certainly bears that out. Roseboro, however, a -3, so that would make him a 16. Held on a 14. He also has a 10 and 11 where he's automatically caught. So he's going to stay put, and Joe Morgan will hit. Sutton from the stretch now. Wynn leading off of first, and here's the pitch to Morgan. That's a 4-4. That's grounder to shortstop X. That's Wills. Wills, a 3-27. That's going to be a 10. That'll be the error range. So that's a 27 on a 5. And Wills boots it. Oh my goodness, an error on Wills. That'll go as an E6, and Wynn will take second. Error on Los Angeles. And hi, Rick. Glad you could join us. Hope your day is going well also. So we've got Wynn on second, Morgan on first, 2 down, just getting started here. And here comes Rusty Staub, left-handed hitter. Staub was a good ball player. Let's see what he hit that year. 280, 13 home runs, 81 runs batted in. So Sutton ready to work to Staub now, and from the stretch, here's the pitch. That's a 4-4. That's a grounder to short again. So that's Wills. 3-E-27. Here's the roll on the play, an 18, and Wills makes the play. So that'll retire the side. The crowd enjoying that one. So for the Astros, no runs, no hits. They leave 2. At the end of the half, Astros nothing, Dodgers coming to bat. I got to mention the playoff game last night, especially since Tony's here, where the Phillies are really taking it to the D-backs, much in the same way as the D-backs took it to the Dodgers, huh? They are just hitting the cover off the ball right now. All right, here we go. Bob Bruce, the right-hander, as he warms up, let's go ahead and give you the Dodger lineup. Maury Wills at short leading off, and this I believe is the same lineup as last game. Wes Parker bats second and plays first base. Willie Davis will play center field and bat third. Ron Fairley hits cleanup, playing right field. Jim Lefevre, the third baseman, bats fifth. Sweet Lou Johnson in left batting sixth. John Roseboro, the catcher, hits seventh. Nate Oliver plays second base and bats eighth, and Sutton, the rookie right-hander, bats ninth. So Bruce ready to roll now. He gets his sign from John Bateman, and here's the first pitch to Maury Wills. That's going to be a 2-9 against the righty. Wills taps it down to second base. That's Joe Morgan. He's got it, flips to first, and there's one away. And here comes Wes Parker, the switch hitter. Tony or Rick or anyone, can you tell me if the crowd noise is too loud, not loud enough? How is it sounding to you? I moved I changed my setup. I moved the laptop a little closer so I could see it. The clincher last year in San Diego. Oh, nice! Against San Diego. Well, how long they can keep it up? They certainly show no signs of slowing down. And that Castellanos, I tell you, my favorite shots are the ones, that's what I was afraid of because I moved it closer. Okay, let's adjust that down a little bit. I'm going to try it right there. So thanks for helping me. It's an experiment in progress, of course. The Castellanos' son, when the camera pans to him after a home run, you just got to smile, don't you? That little kid is just as happy as a clam. So back to this game here now. Here's Parker stepping in now. Thanks for bearing with me as I get settled here. 1 out. Here's Parker batting left-handed. Bruce with the windup and the pitch. It's a 1-3. Parker taps it down to short. That's going to be Jackson. He's got it. Throws across in time. And there's 2 away. And here's Willie Davis, left-handed batter. Bruce into the windup, and here's the pitch to Davis. That's a 1-4. It's a foul out to the catcher. So foul ball caught by Bateman. And 1-2-3 go the Dodgers in the first. So at the end of 1 complete, we have no score in the ball game. Sutton getting ready to pitch here in the second. He's warming up now. I'm sipping a little coffee, as usual. And here comes the Astros. Bob Aspromonte will lead off for Houston. Right-handed batter. Sutton comes set now. The windup and the pitch. It's a 4-9. That's going to be a single to 18, and that is a base hit into left field. So a leadoff single for Aspromonte, first hit of the game for either team. Aspromonte, no threat to run. Here comes Jim Gentile. He did not play the first 2 games of this series. This would have been the last year for Jim Gentile. I'd like to talk about him for just a minute. He would have been 32 years old at this point. He actually started with the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1957, but most people remember him for Baltimore, his years with the Baltimore Orioles, and those were his best years. Probably his best year, 1961, when he led the league in runs batted in with a whopping 141, and I think he hit 46, 48 homers that year as well. So Gentile, a feared left-handed power hitter in his prime, and he still got some pop this year. 7 homers and 144 at-bats, most of the damage against right-handers, which would explain why he's playing today. So Aspromonte on first, Sutton from the stretch, and here's the pitch. It's a 4-10 to the lefty. Grounder to first base. That's Parker. He's got it. Throws down to Oliver, back to first, not in time. So that's going to go as a force play. Aspromonte forced, and Gentile takes first. Gentile at this point was very, very slow. No stealing rating whatsoever, and a 1-8 runner, which is the worst possible rating, of course. So that's 1 down. Gentile on first. That'll bring up John Bateman. Bateman, the right-handed hitting catcher, stands in now. Sutton checks in to get his sign, and here's the pitch from the stretch. It's a 4-10 to Bateman. Swung on and missed strike 3. So Bateman goes down on strikes. That's the first strikeout for Sutton. And we'll bring up the pitcher, Bob Bruce, with 2 away. Sutton from the stretch. Here's the pitch to Bruce. 4-10. Swung on and missed strike 3. Bruce, a right-handed hitter, of course. I neglected to mention that. So for Houston, no runs, a hit. They leave a man. And we go to the bottom of the second, no score. Oh, absolutely, Rick. I'd be happy to show you that. Let's see what we've got here. Where is Drysdale? 13 and 16 that year with a 3.42 run average, 40 starts, 274 innings. And I assume you want to see the advanced version of the card. He gives up some hits that year. He's got a slight gopher ball issue, but not too bad. Still pretty strong in the strikeout area. Looks like more so against lefties than righties. So yeah, he hasn't pitched yet, interestingly, and this is the third Dodger game of 66. Osteen, of course, pitched the opener. And I was never able to get a satisfactory answer as to why that was. Or even as to why the rookie Sutton started before Drysdale. But anyway, that was the case. Do you think that was the year when they did their little holdout? Does anybody remember that? Of course, in those days, before the reserve clause was challenged, there was no free agency. The only leverage a player had was to attempt to hold out, not report, until he got his contract negotiated fairly. And speaking of fairly, here's Ron Fairley. He's going to lead things off here in the second. Left-handed right fielder. Bruce into the windup now, and here's the pitch to Fairley. It's a 4-5 to the lefty. That's a grounder to short X. Excuse me. That's Jackson. He's a 3E40. Here's the roll for the play. 19 on a 3. Jackson's got it and throws to first in time. So a nice play by Jackson. And there's one down. That'll bring up Jim Lefevre, the switch hitting third baseman. He's going to be batting lefty against Bruce. Bruce set to go now. Winds and deals. And here's the pitch. That's a 3-5 against the righty. That'll be a base hit up the middle for Lefevre. So a one-out single for Lefevre. Let's check his stealing. Lefevre not a threat to steal. He will not be held on. And here's Sweet Lou Johnson. Johnson, a right-handed batter. Bruce from the stretch now gets his sign from Bateman. And here's the pitch. That's a 4-7. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And that's Bruce's first K of the game. And there's 2 away. And that'll bring up John Roseboro, left-handed hitting catcher. Lefevre still at first, 2 down, and from the stretch, the pitch to Roseboro. That's a 6-8 grounder to second base X. That's Morgan, a 3E30, as difficult as that is for me to believe. 17 on the 3. Morgan will make that play, and then he'll retire the side. So for LA, there's no runs on a hit, they leave a man. And we are scoreless after 2. A lot of those scoreless games in the 60s and in Dodger Stadium, of course, the dimensions much different than they are today. Houston will have the top of the order coming up in the third. May, Jackson, and Wynn. Sutton gets ready to work. Sutton gets his sign from Roseboro, the windup and the pitch. 5-8 against the lefty. That's a grounder down to second. Easy play for Oliver. He's there, flips to Parker, and there's one away. And that'll bring up Sonny Jackson. Jackson tapped to third in the first inning. Sutton from the windup. Here's the delivery. 2-7 against the right. He gets a base hit into right field for Jackson. So Sonny Jackson with a one-out single as Houston tries to get something going here in the third. Jackson very fast. He'll have to be held on. So again, that's the +4 of Sutton, the -3 of Roseboro. The most you can be is a 19, which he already is. Held on, he's a 17. So Jackson creeping off of first as Wynn steps in. Jackson's going to try for the lead. And he just misses it. 2 through 5, 11 and 12, and the roll is a 6. So Jackson fails to establish a good lead. My pleasure, Rick. Here's Sutton's pitch to Wynn from the stretch. 2-8. I'll comment on that in just a second. Wynn flies it into center. That's going to be Willie Davis. He ranges over. Routine play for Willie, and there's 2 away. And that'll bring up Joe Morgan. Joe Morgan elevated to the cleanup spot for today's ball game. Sutton from the stretch now, and here's the pitch to Morgan. That's a 3-5. Tapper down to first. Parker has it. Flips to Sutton covering, and that'll do it. So no runs, a hit, and a man left. And we go to the bottom of the third, still scoreless. Yeah, I was a kid, pretty much still a kid when Drysdale retired. I remember him. I can't say I remember him with much clarity. But the stories between him and who was, I don't know what other way to put this. Who was meaner between him and Bob Gibson? I'll tell you what, you didn't want to dig in against either one of those guys, did you? Okay then, we move along to the bottom of the third. Bruce is ready to go. Nate Oliver will lead it off for Los Angeles. Oliver in there for his glove, never much of a hitter. Bruce ready to go now, winds and deals. 3-4, that's a double to 5, and that's going to be down the left field line. Oliver rounding first. May gets it back in, and Oliver's got himself a double. How about that? As I said, he wasn't ever a very good hitter. He hit 193 that year, for example, and that was probably more or less typical. They'll bring up Sutton now. Sutton can handle the bat a little, not particularly great, but he wasn't completely inept. So now, Bruce ready to go. Sutton to C. Sutton's going to lay down a bunch. That's a 4 on a C. And he lays down a successful sacrifice bunt. That'll go 2-3. And Oliver takes third. So the Dodgers playing small ball here in the third. No runs in the game so far. Seems like a good idea to me. And the Astros will do the same. They're going to pull the infield in now for Wills. Wills an A bunter. So I think that's a good idea for Houston to pull the infield in here. 1 away, Oliver on third. Bruce a glance over at Wills, and now from the stretch comes to the plate. 5-10. That's a fly to center, but that's going to be fairly shallow. Wind's there. Oliver tags up, but he won't try it. He's going to have to hold. And there's 2 down. Oliver's still standing at third. And that'll leave it up to Wes Parker. Parker is switchy batting left here against Bruce. Bruce from the stretch, the pitch to Wes Parker. That's going to be a 4-8. Swung on and missed strike 3. And down goes Parker. No runs a hit and a man left, and we're still scoreless after 3 complete. So it's a duel. We've seen a few of these. Not surprisingly for the 60s. The era when pitchers were expected to go the distance, or at least get deep in the game. So as Sutton gets ready to work here in the fourth, he'll be seeing Staub, Aspermani, and Gentile. Sutton winds and deals on the pitch to Staub. That's a 3-9 against the right-hander. Swung on and missed, strike 3, and down goes Staub. That's 3 Ks for Sutton now. The rookie right-hander looking pretty good out there. And here's Aspromonte. Sutton, the windup and the pitch. Curveball. 3-8 to the righty. He taps it down to third base. Lefevre's there and throws him out. Quickly, there's 2 away here in the 4th. And that'll bring up big Jim Gentile. He bounced out to first base in the 2nd inning. 2 away, Sutton winds and delivers. And here's the pitch, a 6-5 to the lefty. Swung on and missed, strike 3, and down he goes. 2 Ks for Sutton that inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Astros, and we go to the bottom of the 4th, still scoreless. So Bruce, the veteran, putting up goose eggs. The Dodgers in the 4th will have Davis, Fairley, and Lefevre due up. Bruce ready to work now, gets the sign from Bateman. The windup and the pitch to Davis. That's a 4-5 to the left-hander. A grounder to short X, that's Sonny Jackson. He is a 3E40. Here's the roll on the play. 9, that's going to be the error range. So 40 on a 12. And he boots it. No, he doesn't. He makes the play. 10 to 12 is the 12 ground ball A. I beg your pardon. Jackson makes a fine play. Throws Davis out, and there's 1 down. And here's Ron Fairley. Bruce gets his sign. Here's the windup and the pitch to Ron Fairley. So 1-7. Ball 4, he draws the walk. So a base on balls to Fairley. He goes down to first. He's a 13, although not an asterisk. Bruce and Bateman are both a 0, so he'd be a 1 to 13 if he got the lead. They won't be needing to hold him due to that. Okay, so it'll be Lefevre, man on first, 1 out. Lefevre batting lefty. Bruce from the stretch, and here's the pitch to Lefevre. That's a 5-7, and he walks him. That's back-to-back walks issued by Bruce now. And that gives Los Angeles first and second and 1 away, and here comes Lou Johnson. Johnson struck out in the 2nd. Bruce ready to go now from the stretch. Here's the pitch. That's a 4-11 to the righty. Deep fly ball to left field, but it's playable. May is there on the track and makes the catch, and the runners will have to hold. And that'll bring up John Roseboro with 2 down. Bruce ready to work now. From the stretch, the pitch to Roseboro. That's a 2-11. Tapper down to first. That's going to be Gentile. Flips to Bruce covering. And that'll do it for the Dodgers. No runs, no hits. They leave a pair, both on the walks. And we are scoreless after 4 complete. So this is turning into quite a pitching duel between the veteran Bruce and the rookie Sutton. Houston will have the bottom of the order here in the 5th. Bateman, the pitcher spot, and then we swing around to the top of the order. So Bateman standing in from the right side as Sutton gets ready to work, gets his sign, the windup, and the pitch. That's a 2-11. Bateman grounds it down to second. That's Oliver. He's there. Flips to Parker, and there's 1 away. And that'll bring up Bruce, the pitcher. Bruce, right-handed batter. Sutton set now and delivers the pitch to the plate. It's a 5-9. Struck him out. So that's 5 Ks now for Sutton. And that'll bring up Lee May. Sutton into the windup, and here's the pitch to May. 6-4 to the lefty. That's a catcher's card X. Roseboro, a 1E4, fine defensive catcher with a cannon for an arm to boot. Here's the roll on the play. 18, he fouls out to the catcher. So an easy play for Roseboro. And 3 up, 3 down there for Sutton. Still scoreless as we move to the bottom of the 5th. And that got me wondering, I know this was Sutton's rookie year, but was this his first big league start? Yes, it was, believe it or not. So apparently he made the team out of spring training at the tender age of 21. As I said before, the spot opened up largely due to the retirement of Johnny Padres. And this would have been his debut. So that's kind of interesting. Okay, so as Bruce gets ready to go in the bottom of the 5th, the Dodgers will have the bottom of their order, Oliver, Sutton, and then back to the top with Maury Wills. Scoreless duel here in the 5th. Bruce ready to go. Gets the sign from Bateman, and here's the pitch. 3-8, swung on and missed strike 3. And down goes Oliver on strikes. 1 away, here comes Sutton. Sutton, a right-handed batter. Bruce delivers. A 2-9, swung on and missed strike 3. And for Bruce now, that's 4 Ks. And here's Maury Wills. 2 down, Maury Wills at the plate, batting lefty against the right-handed Bruce. Bruce gets the sign from Bateman, and here's the pitch. 6-7 to the lefty. That's into the gap. Wynn chasing it down, Wills speeding into second with a double. So a 2-out double for Maury Wills gives the Dodgers a runner in scoring position for Wes Parker. Parker 0 for 2 today. Bruce from the stretch now. The pitch to Parker. 6-7. That's a double into center, and that's going to drive in the game's first run. By the time Wynn gets to it, Wills is halfway to the plate, and Parker's in with an RBI double. So back-to-back doubles. Here in the 5th, that puts the Dodgers on the board. Parker very fast. He's leaning off of second as Willie Davis steps in. And Houston gets Carol Sembera up in the pen. Bruce, ready to go now. 2 down, a man on second, and here's the pitch to Willie Davis. That's a 1-7. Pop-up, right side, Gentile calling for it. He's there, and that'll do it. Let's try to put that in the right place, shall we? Okay, so for LA, a run on 2 hits. They leave a man. At the end of 5 complete, it's Dodgers 1, Astros nothing. Let me catch up on some of these comments here. Oh, Spencer Strider, what a marvelous pitcher that guy is. You know, I play some keeper leagues too with Strat, where you draft your own teams and you keep the players indefinitely unless you have to be cut for roster limitations or you trade them or whatever. I don't know if you guys ever do any of that kind of stuff, but my point being, if I were in a scratch draft right now and could pick any starting pitcher today, I think I'd probably go with Strider. And I'm not talking about what he's done so far. I'm talking speculating from this point forward. Who would you take? I think I would go with Strider. Moving along to the 6th now. Warm up these dice here as Sutton gets ready to work. Here comes Sonny Jackson, the left-handed hitting shortstop, to lead off the 6th for Houston. And here's the pitch from Sutton. That's going to be a 5-8 against the lefty. Grounder to second. Oliver to his left, scoops it up, throws to first, and there's one down. Here's Jimmy Wynn now. 6th inning already, this game moving rather quickly. Sutton, the windup, and the pitch to the toy cannon. That's a 5-4. Grounder to third base X. That's going to be Lefevre. He's a 3E24. Here's the roll for the play. 19 on a 3. Lefevre picks it up and throws him out. So a fine play by Jim Lefevre. And quickly there's 2 down here in the 6th. And that'll bring up little Joe Morgan. Morgan 0 for 2 today, reached on an error in the 1st. Sutton ready now, the windup and the pitch. 4-5 to the lefty. He grounds to shortstop X. That's Wills. 3E27. And here's the play. A 9. That will go to the error frequency. So we've got a roll of an 8 on a 27. And Wills makes the play. So 3 up, 3 down. Nice play by Wills. And that'll retire the side. We move along to the bottom of the 6th, 1-0 Los Angeles. So the Dodgers will have Fairley, Lefevre, and Johnson due up here in the 6th. Johnson pitching a hell of a... Bruce also pitching a hell of a game here. Bruce gets the sign from Bateman, the windup and the pitch to Fairley. 4-4 to the lefty. Grounder to short X. Oh, wait. That's Jackson. Jackson's a 3E40. I should know that by now. On a 20, he's going to make that play. Fairly easy play for Jackson. That'll go 6-3X, and there's one away. And here's Jim Lefevre, 1 for 1 today. Also drew a walk in the 4th. Standing in from the left side now. And here's the pitch from Bruce. 3-6 to the righty. It's a single to 9, but that's going to be a liner speared by Joe Morgan, and there's 2 down. So Lefevre hit it on the button, but right at the second baseman. And with 2 down, that'll be Lou Johnson coming up next, right-handed batter. Bruce gets his sign from Bateman. Here's the windup and the pitch to Johnson. 6-11. Flying into center, that's playable for Jimmy Wynn. He's there. And a 1-2-3 inning for Bob Bruce. After 6 complete, 1-0 Los Angeles. Sutton coming out for the 7th here, and boy, the fans have to be happy with this rookie's debut. He's only allowed 2 hits to this point, and he'll be facing Staub, Aspromonte, and Gentile. Or is it Gentile? That's a good question. Let me see if I can't get some clarification on that. It's actually Gentile, so I've been saying it wrong. I stand corrected. So Staub, Aspromonte, and Gentile due up here for the Astros in the 7th. Sutton ready to work now. Gets the sign from Roseboro, the windup and the pitch. 2-5 to the righty. He draws the walk. So a leadoff walk to Staub. He's a 13 stealer, no asterisk. He'll be a 14 with the pitcher-catcher combination of Sutton-Roseboro. Aspromonte's going to hit away. Sutton from the stretch now. Here's the pitch to Aspromonte. That's a 4-7. Swung on and missed strike 3. And down goes Aspromonte. And that'll bring up Gentile. Now that I know how to say his name properly. Gentile 0 for 2 today, struck out in the 4th. Sutton from the stretch, and here's the delivery. That's a 2-10. Swung on and missed strike 3. So for Sutton now, what is that? 2-4. That's his 7th strikeout. And that'll bring up Bateman. Staub still at first. Staub a modest lead. Sutton to look over there, and now from the stretch delivers to the plate. 6-3 to the right-hander. That's left field X. That's going to be Lou Johnson. He's a 2E5. And here's the roll for the play. On an 18, that's a routine catch for Johnson there. He's got it, and that'll retire the side. That goes 7X for Houston. No runs, no hits, 1 left on. And we still have a 1-0 game going to the bottom of the 7th. I'm looking at the comments again now. I'm in complete agreement with Rick here. I would recommend anyone with Strat-O-Matic start out with dice and cards. That was the way the game was invented, and I think it's the most fun form. The Windows game is nice for larger leagues where you're net playing or playing a large bunch of people because it keeps all your stats for you, which is nice. But just for the ease of play and enjoyment, dice and cards all the way. Moving along to the bottom of the 7th now. We've got the bottom of the Dodger order. It's Roseboro, Oliver, and the pitcher's spot. Hard to tell how long Walt Alston is going to stick with the rookie. Certainly he's shown no reason to take him out. Here's Roseboro from the left side. Bruce into the windup, and here's his pitch to Roseboro. That's a 5-10 to the lefty. Fly ball to center, fairly shallow. Wind coming in on that now, and he's got it. And there's 1 down. And that'll bring up Nate Oliver. Oliver 1 for 2 today. Light hitting second baseman. Bruce into the windup, and here's the pitch. 6-7. That's a double to 7. He'll settle for a base hit up the middle, and Oliver's 2 for 3. How about that? Oliver an asterisk 15. So he'll have to be held on. But that'll give Sutton the opportunity to lay 1 down here. He's a C bunter. He's going to attempt the sacrifice. On a 12, he pops out into a double play. How about that? So I'm not sure how you would score that. Let's call that 2-4-3 on a sac attempt. So Sutton not only fails to get the bunt down, but he pops into the double play, and that'll do it for the Dodgers in the 7th. No runs, a hit, no 1 left. We go to the 8th inning, 1-0 Los Angeles. And in this situation, the Astros are going to have to send up a pinch hitter for Bruce. So Bruce did a nice job. He pitched 7 today. Only allowed 5 hits. He walked only 2, both of them in the 4th inning. struck out 4, and just the lone run. Let's see what else they've got. Simbera, of course, would be represented by the nameless card. I think I need to... He pitched in this game in real life. But I think we owe it to the Astros to do a little better here with a game this close. They don't seem to have a left-hander in the pen. So, boy, who would you go with there? Probably not the save guy. Let's look at that again. Not a lot of options here, really. Barry Latman. That seems to be the only real clear choice, other than the closer Claude Raymond. So Barry Latman's going to warm up. He'll be coming in to pitch for Houston. I think that's a much better choice for Houston than Simbera, even though he did pitch in the game in real life. So now we need a hitter for Houston. Ron Brand hit in the game in real life. That part I'm going to go with. That's good enough for me. Brand is going to hit for the pitcher. He played in this game in real life. Brand, catcher, second base, third base, left field, kind of a jack of all trades. Now I'm going to call Brand back. That's simply not a good choice at all for Houston. Looks like Brand did most of his damage against left-handers. See, Nicholson started the first game. Here we go. Here's who we're going to go with. Chuck Harrison's going to pinch hit for Houston. That's a much better choice for the Astros. Harrison hit .256 with 9 home runs. So Sutton ready to work now in the 8th. Gets the sign from Roseboro. Chuck Harrison, the pinch hitter, standing in from the right side. And here's Sutton's pitch. That's a 4-8. Fly ball to right. That's playable for Fairley. He's there and puts it away, and there's one down. Back to the top of the order now with Lee May. May 0 for 3 today. Sutton ready to go now. Winds and deals. That's a 6-8 against the lefty. That's a double to 7. He'll settle for a long single to center. And Lee May is aboard with a potential tying run. May not a big threat to steal. As Sonny Jackson steps in, Ron Peronowski begins to toss in the Los Angeles pen. Sutton from the stretch now. Here's the pitch to Jackson. That's a 5-5. Fly ball into center. That's playable. Willie Davis there. And there's 2 away. So May still at first. And here comes Jimmy Wynn. Wynn has power. 2 down now. Potential tying run at first base, and here's Sutton's pitch to Wynn from the stretch. That's a 1-8. Grounder down to short. That's Wills. He's going to go the short way to second, and that'll do it. So for the Astros, no runs, a hit, they leave a man. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. Los Angeles still clinging to a 1-0 lead. So Bruce is finished. He worked 7. Here comes Barry Latman. Latman had a fine 2.71 earned run average that year. Starter reliever. Worked 103 innings between the two. I'm going to get a little sip of my coffee here. As Latman gets ready to work here at the bottom of the 8th, he's going to see the top of the Dodger order, Wills, Parker, and Willie Davis. Wills standing in from the left side as Latman gets ready to work now. He gets his sign from John Bateman and the windup and the pitch to Wills. That's a 3-8. Homer to 3, deep fly ball to right field, back to the track, to the wall, and that's caught right at the wall by Rusty Staub. So a homer 1-3 for Wills, who's a weak batter. In other words, he cannot homer off of the pitcher's card. His only shot is that 1-8, 1 through 3, and he just missed it. So a fly ball to right, and there's one down. And that'll bring up Wes Parker. Parker 1 for 3 today, drove in the only run of the ball game back in the 5th. Latman ready to work now. Here's the windup and the pitch to Parker. That's going to be a 4-6 to the left-hander. Fly to center. Can of corn for Jimmy Wynn. He's there and puts it away. And here's Willie Davis with 2 down. Davis 0 for 3 today. Latman gets his sign, the windup, and the pitch. That's a 5-5. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Davis went down to try to get that one, swung right over the top of it. And a 1-2-3 inning for Latman. That's where he came in. And after 8 complete, it's Dodgers 1, Astros nothing. So the tension mounts as we move to the 9th here, with the young rookie right-hander still out on the mound for Los Angeles. Peronowski still tossing lightly, but without much conviction in the pen. It looks like it's going to be Sutton's game to win or lose. He'll be facing Morgan, Staub, and Aspromonte. Joe Morgan, left-handed batter. Sutton winds and deals. That's a 6-9. That's deep to right field. Bat goes fairly to the track, to the wall, and he makes the catch at the wall. Holy cow. Let's look at that again. 6-9 homer to 8. The roll is a 10. He pushes fairly right to the wall. Morgan came a few feet from tying this ball game. And that'll bring up Staub. Here's Rusty Staub now. 0 for 2 today. He did walk in the 7th. Sutton gets the sign from Roseboro. The windup. The pitch. 4-12. Ball 4. He loses him. So Staub down to first, representing the tying run. And Bob Aspromonte will be the batter. Roseboro out to the mound. As Peronowski begins to throw with a little more conviction out there in the Los Angeles pen. Roseboro probably just buying a little time for his reliever. He's back behind the plate now, into the crouch, flashes some signs. Sutton from the stretch now, and here's the pitch to Aspromonte. That's a 5-8. Swung on and missed, strike 3. So Sutton fans Aspromonte, and the Astros are down to their final out in the form of Jim Gentile. Gentile 0 for 3 today, struck out twice. He does have some power. Sutton ready to work now from the stretch, and here's the pitch. That's a 2-7. He walks, ball 4. So Sutton could be finally running out of gas here in the 9th. As far as fatigue goes, he was a 7 rated, but he gave up a hit in the 8th and 2 walks here. They're going to let him pitch to Bateman. So Sutton going for the complete game here. First and second, 2 away. Here's Bateman, and here's Sutton from the stretch. 3-12 liner, speared by Lefevre, and that'll do it. Oh my God, we got to look at that again. 3-12 right-handed, line out to the max. Well, in this case, the max is 1, and that's the ball game. So Sutton goes the distance in his major league debut here and hangs on to beat the Astros 1-0. What a pitching duel. Not quite the intensity of yesterday's back and forth duel, but I love a good pitching duel. So Sutton, again, in his major league debut, he picks up the win with a 3-hit shutout. Well, how do you know about that? That's a hell of a game. He walked 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 of them in the 9th inning when he appeared to tire a little bit. He struck out 4, 5, 6, 7. Struck out 8. Bob Bruce, the hard luck loser, he pitched a hell of a game in his own right. Latman, a flawless inning of relief with 1 strikeout. So for the Astros, no runs on 3 hits, no errors. The Dodgers only 1 run on 5 hits. They made 1 error. And that's your final here from Dodger Stadium, as the Dodgers nipped the Astros 1-0. I want to thank you guys for hanging out. I will not have a game tomorrow. We've got a full playoff schedule. But I'll try to squeeze in one on Friday. And looking ahead on the schedule, that will be the Kansas City Athletics at the Minnesota Twins. That'll be sometime Friday, probably around lunch. So this is Steve Aquilung, thanking you all for joining. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy that playoff game tonight. Take care, everybody. I'll see you Friday.